Shalom and welcome. Welcome to today's live stream. My name is Alina, and this channel is my channel about personal growth, practical psychology, coaching, decision making processes, spiritual practices, and this holistic approach to our lifestyle, our life. And I hope that this video will be interesting and helpful. Today we're discussing decision making processes in personal relationships. Okay, so it's a big topic, of course, like all topics I'm trying to touch base about. And I also want to remind you that I have also an Instagram account where I'm posting more, and this is that there is more engagement there and more views. So please subscribe here and subscribe there so you will not miss new content and new topics we'll be discussing. And also, please feel free to reach out to me if you want to schedule a one-on-one coaching session. So today we're discussing personal relationships and how does it connect to decision-making, coaching and decision-making processes. So first of all, we need to know our main priorities and deal breakers before we start relationships. And even not before we start relationships, I would say before we started actively searching for relationships, going to dates, meeting new people, because sometimes our emotions or maybe a passion and attraction can confuse us, and if we sometimes we cannot think straight when we are already very emotionally involved or sexually attracted to the person. So keep it in mind. It's better to think in advance when you're not emotionally involved with anyone specifically. What are your deal breakers and what are extremely important things for you in your future relationships? What also I wanted to mention, another problem that we may have is a fear of finishing, ending existing relationships that are not working, that are not a good match for us, at least at this point in life. Maybe once the relationships were good, but now they're not anymore. And you tried to work on it, you tried to make it work, and you tried to make it come back to something more positive and happy, but it didn't work. And it's very important to identify why it's time for you to finish relationships and to break up or even to get divorced in some cases. So how to know, is it time to end relationships, or are we good? Or maybe even before ending relationships, do we need to go to therapy or stuff like that? I want to mention that I'm not couples therapist or any therapist at all. I'm a decision-making coach, and it's something completely different. So I'm just talking about it because I think it's important as a step. And are we going to a therapist? It can be a part of our decision-making processes. So I'm helping to identify that maybe it can be a good step to do, to try, but I'm personally not providing those services of therapy. It's very important to mention it, so we will not have any misunderstanding about coaching and therapy, as also different things. So what can we ask? I made for myself here a list of things, so my video will not be too long, and also I will not miss important things. So sorry, I will be watching from time to time and checking if I'm going through all things I want to discuss today. So how to identify that something is wrong with relationships and it's time to go to therapy, or if there is no such mutual interest to do it, maybe it's time to break out or get divorced. So do we share core life goals and values? It's one of the most important questions. You don't need to be the same, you don't need to have same interests and hobbies and favorite dishes and favorite way how you spend all your time, but you need to have this common vision of your future. So your life goals, main life goals and values, are they matching, or there is a huge gap between your views on those matters? Do you respect each other? It's also very important aspect of relationships. Is there mutual respect? Love is love, it's also very, very important, but there also must be a mutual respect in order for relationships to be healthy. Another thing is, do we trust each other? It's a good question, and I think it's a core question for relationships. If there is no trust, and people don't trust each other and they doubt each other, and maybe even fear each other's decisions or behaviors when you're not in control, or you're not present, or something's happening behind your back, it can be a really, really big problem. This is extremely unhealthy for relationships. And when the trust is lost, the relationships are in great danger, and if the trust will be not restored somehow, those relationships do not have future. I'm saying it also from my previous experiences, personally, and also from experiences of my clients in my practice. So, and very important question, another one is, do we love each other? I know that not for all families it's a core question for staying together or getting divorced. If there is mutual respect and people trust each other and they share core life values and goals, there are families, couples that are deciding to stay together, even they feel that there is no love, but there is some other connection that they also appreciate and value, but it's for everyone to decide how important this is to them. But at least, I mean, I think you need to be aware, where are you in this matter? Do you love each other or you don't? And then if you realize that maybe not, then you need to make a decision. What does it mean for you? How important it is for you, and what are you going to do or not to do about this situation. So those were like main things I would pay attention to in order to think, are relationships in a good shape or maybe not. Maybe it's time for therapy or for a breakup. If you think that I missed something, there is something more to add, please feel free to write in comment section. And we are continuing our video, and we're talking about why people stay in unhealthy relationships. So there are many reasons why people stay in relationships. I would talk about how many I wrote to myself. I wrote 8 that were on top of my mind, and I find them probably main reasons really, and the most common reasons. So it's a fear of change, you know, to step up from your comfort zone, to do something that you were not regular to do by yourself, especially when relationships are in general stable. Like there are some problems, but there is no some instabilities of the stable relationship. Like we don't fight, we don't have a lot of tension, we have a stable routine, and this is good for the kids. Those are the main things that I hear from people that are somehow like not happy in their relationships, but it's hard for them to make a step to end those relationships. It comes from those points that they're saying, like, we don't have big fight, or he's not violent, he's not drinking, he's not cheating, or she's not cheating and not violent, and we don't have fights, and we're like kind of okayish, something like that. And also it's good for the kids, also one of the reasons, and how hard it will be, all the logistic around the school and the kids when we got separated or divorced. Talking about the kids is, as an excuse, a very common reason that I hear, and everyone probably knows that it's one of the most common excuses that we hear, and it's not that easy to say that this is really good for the kids, because in many cases kids can feel, see, hear, and recognize that there is something not good that is happening between the parents, and the parents are not happy together, and there is tension between parents. So it's not always, let's say, sometimes it's a stability. The kids really will feel stress, and it's not easy also for the kids, the divorce process. But we don't know what is more harmful for kids when parents live together in this tension and disbalance and disrespect, and they are unhappy, and children live in that house, or the stress and trauma of divorce. So staying in these families relationships with kids is traumatizing and stressful, and getting divorced, it's also traumatizing and stressful for kids. So it's really not an easy decision. Let's continue. Number 4 that I wrote is the fear of financial and other challenges and instabilities. And this is I'm not saying it's a false fear, it's a very realistic fear. That, of course, this is a big change, especially if you were living together. For couples that were living together, had like a common household and finances, of course, divorce will be a big stress, and it will definitely bring some financial changes, challenges, and instabilities. And sometimes this is the reason why people are waiting and trying to continue to live together, even if it's something very unhealthy and unhappy for both of them. Number 5 is now the fear of loneliness. But to be honest, if you're in a very unhealthy, unhappy relationships where you don't share core values and main life goals, when you don't spend much time together, when you don't respect each other, maybe don't love each other already, when you don't trust each other, so are you really not lonely? Like, it's a good and hard question to ask yourself. Like, if we are living together and we don't feel those feelings, we don't have those common values, interests, we don't spend time together, we don't trust each other, we maybe don't love each other already, are we really have some unity and closeness? Are we really together? Or maybe we are already lonely, and this is a false feeling that having another person in the house makes us not lonely. Also a hard question, and hard dilemma to think and discuss. Another topic is why people are staying in relationships that don't make them happy, is the low self-esteem and doubts both about your ability to provide for yourself and to be liked and loved again. So when I have low self-esteem, we are questioning ourselves in everything. Am I capable to get this job, to make more money, to get clients, to understand complicated things, and to take care of myself? And also, am I likable? Will someone like me? Will someone adore me? Will someone love me? Will someone want to be with me, enjoy my company? Will someone want to spend a lifetime with me? All those questions are coming from low self-esteem, even if their form is very different, their core, their root is in low self-esteem, and this is all connected. So this is low self-esteem is one of the main reasons why people stay in relationships that are not good. they're staying at work that they don't like, that is underpaid, or bad team, or they just don't grow professional anymore, don't enjoy, but still stay. This is all related to low self-esteem. And unfortunately, many decisions made out of fear have something to do with low self-esteem. Everything is really connected, and there is a holistic approach that I'm using in my practice for a reason. So let's continue, because you see, if I'm not following the list, I'm going to other interesting topics, but it will make my video so long. So let's continue. So another one that I wrote is false belief that the partner will change. This is a very common and painful thing to realize that partner will not change. We need to meet people at where they are. We can say once or twice about some very important things that are bothering us about them. I'm talking about some core things. Yeah, I'm not saying like some small things that we're asking, I don't know, to close the door or to put the towel in a basket and near the basket in a laundry room. I'm talking about big things. Of course, when we live together, we need to adjust to each other. Same as a new team, we come into work in a new team, we need to learn like how do we work together, how do we adjust to each other, and this is something normal. I'm talking about like core values and beliefs and main behaviors that this person, lifestyle of this person, it will not change unless the person will initiate it and want to do it, not because you are asking for it again and again. So about core values, beliefs, goals, lifestyle, this is what you see is what you get. This is what it is. We need to meet each other on the point when we say, okay, this is okay. That is why I'm in the beginning of the video I was talking that it's very, very important to know what are our like main things that are extremely important for us in relationships and what are our deal breakers. Because if those things are not met, those are our expectations are not met, and we are starting relationships and we're falling in love, knowing that something very, very important for me is not there, or there is a deal breaker that is absolutely not acceptable for me, most likely those relationships will be very painful and will not have a happy ending. It's important to keep it in mind. But anyway, sometimes I see, let's say not sometimes, very often I see relationships that are not working, that are not happy, that they're not ending for some more time. People are trying to continue with those relationships because they believe that the other person will change. And it is not something that is happening. So it's important to be aware of if there is something very, very important for you, or there's a big problem that is not okay for you to have in your relationships. Most likely this is what it is, and you need at least to put yourself a deadline. How long will you wait for the positive change to come? Because if you don't have a deadline, you can play this game with yourself and you're waiting more and more. So it's important to be aware of this. And last but not least is the mind game of harmonizing any talk, let's say, not harmonizing, not making like harmony with them, but making like peace with them and kind of normalizing them. Any toxic behavior, relationships, or any or even physical violence. So when we are trying to find this inner peace, this somehow that I'm okay with it, trying to normalize, it's not that bad, this is just how she or he is saying, this is just how it is. Don't need to be so sensitive that he or she like is cursing me or threatening me, or maybe there's even physical violence or addiction problem or some gaslighting or very, very toxic behaviors that we are trying to normalize and convince ourselves that it's okay, it's okay. No relationships are perfect. This is okay. True, no relationships are perfect. Everyone has their flips, their problems, their nuances. Everyone are unique and everyone has their issues. But there is a big difference between all those like issues and funny stuff and some miscommunications and toxic behaviors, and especially when we're talking about like any form of violence, gaslighting, or physical violence. This is all very much not okay, and there is no need to find inner peace with it, like ignore it or normalize it. So those were the things that I wanted to mention today. And of course, if you are interested to realize what are your main priorities and deal breakers in relationships, I highly recommend you to schedule a meeting with me and we can work on it. In my experience, when I visit someone who ended relationships and they are not aware of their core needs, values, and deal breakers, there's a high probability that they will start new relationships with similar problems, choosing similar problematic type of personality and struggling and suffering through relationships that have maybe they're different in their like form, but they're different in their form, but they're very similar in their core and their root and their structure with the previous relationships. That is why it's very important for us to be aware what are our deal breakers and what is the most important for us to have in relationships. I hope this video was interesting and informative. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and don't forget to ring the bell so you will not miss my new live streams, and like this video. It really motivates me, supports me and my small channel, helps it to grow. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye and Hak Purim Sameach. Bye bye.